The Little Rock 9 Monument stands in honor of 9 African American students that courageously integrated Little Rock Central High School in 1957. The students are saluted in a striking brass memorial located on the grounds of the Arkansas State Capitol in Little Rock. The Little Rock 9 Monument stands in honor of 9 African American students that courageously integrated Little Rock Central High School in 1957. The students are saluted in a striking brass memorial located on the grounds of the Arkansas State Capitol in Little Rock. The life-size statues were designed and sculpted by Little Rock native John Deering and assisted by his wife, Kathy Deering. The idea of the sculptures were brainstormed and brought to life after the 40th anniversary of the 1957 Little Rock desegregation crisis. Life-size clay models were sculpted to serve as molds for the cast bronze statues. Once the steel framework and the clay work was completed, the statues were cast and bronzed. After 7 years of work and a finished product, Deering and his wife named the monument Testament. Deering's artwork incorporates formal elements of art representing balance, three-dimensional representation, expressive lines, and texture to represent realistic figures. The significance of the placement and spacing of the 9 sculptures convey the students walking as a group to enter the school. This was a stylized approach. The spacing of the freestanding figures and the symmetry give balance to the monument as a whole. Deering also factored in personality traits by incorporating different facial expressions, postures, and stances to radiate body language that seems to be associated with each of the students. The expressive qualities of lines impacted the configuration of the facial expressions. For example, the student above is looking ahead with eyebrows raised and lips pursed, created a feeling of apprehension. Another important element that can be seen in the sculptures are their surfaces, proportion, and the scale. The surface produces visual effects that are convex and modeled. The convex surface and the modeled surface create a three-dimensional form expressing general fullness, which produces visual effects such as the ridges and hollow portions catching light and forming shadow. Color is also shown on the surface by the use of the bronzing technique. Color can endow the surface with attributes of texture, proportion, depth, and shape. Proportion and scale also contribute to the sculptures. Deering's work follows a more naturalistic approach where the human body looks as if it is a realistic object and the body is merged in a single form holding objects that fit within. He also creates the sculpture to be of scale with its surroundings by making the students and the books appear to be life-size. The Little Rock 9 Monument represents the biography methodology of art history. The 9 students represented within the piece have a story that is foretold by the emotions one senses when looking at the sculptures. The 1950s were a time of race discrimination. During this time, African Americans were not welcome in the public school system. It was the 9 African Americans sculpted that showed courageousness and bravery to attend a predominantly white school. Each sculpture of each student has biographical meaning that portrays more than just the facts that they were African American students. Due to the art of photography, monuments like the Testament were able to be created. Prized photos by the late Will Counts provided the basis for the features of each student, so Deering could use a realist approach. Realism is the attempt to represent subject matter truthfully, without artificiality and avoiding implausible and supernatural elements. Deering sculpts the students as if they are attending a day at school and have realistic features as such a human being would. The combination of contemporary aesthetics and detailed technique contribute to Deering's work. The positioning of Deering's sculptures are influenced by classical Greece, assuming a natural contrapposto pose and naturalistic detail. The heads are slightly turned sideways with eyes focused in a stare as if they are looking at someone in the environment. The posture of each body and the positioning of the feet are off-centered, giving a natural pose. The lips are parted, eyebrows raised, and the slight creases in the forehead show one's emotional expressions as it was upon entering school in the 1950s.